All right, let me put me eyeballs on here and the beatings will begin. Here we go.
From Hollywood, welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
And that's why I've always stayed thin. All right, welcome to the hump day. I hope you're ready for another action-packed adventure because you're going to get one whether you like it or not, because there's never a shortage of lunacy to rap about. All right, here's what's on deck today on the rap. The globalists are as nervous as a one-legged cat trying to bury Dookie on a frozen pond, and they'll tell you why. We might just have our first back-to-back winner of the Rat's Ass Podcast Dumbass Award, too. We'll tell you who. Why do we need a pay-for-pray app? I'm curious. We'll get into it. Did you hear Led Zeppelin was going back on tour again? I've got details. And Luka Doncic returns to Dallas tonight. We'll do another round of head trauma. The screen test is on the way. Plus our usual loose behavior. Solid on the X, the celebrity cheese, your email from our Gmail, one more thang, and shout-outs to Rat Nation. All coming up. All right, if you're currently alive, and I think you are, if you've seen how the stock market has tumbled since Trump's Liberation Day, you've heard me say that stocks are on sale. And I say this because the VIX remains above 40. It's actually around 50, a little bit more than 50. At one point, it reached 57. The VIX is the fear index, and that's what tells me how the market is moving. It's not 100% sure, but it's as close as you're going to get. VIX is the symbol if you want to track it. Now, to me, this speaks of a buying opportunity to add small positions that you already have, small blocks at a time. Every 5 to 10% down, you buy a little bit more, you buy a little bit more. Now, this is also a day trader's paradise, and it's creating this up and down phenomena that you're seeing right now. Okay, when the VIX gets this way, you know that pretty much by the end of the day, the stock market's going to sell off. So to give you an example, yesterday, NVIDIA dropped under $87 a share, but it climbed intraday to over $100 a share. So a savvy day trader would have bought it around 87 and sold it a few hours later for $100, $100, $102 and made $1,400 if they bought 100 shares. Then they probably waited for the close and bought it around 96 to hopefully make some more money today. They could have sold it on the open at 99 and made another $300. And that's how day trading works. But it causes the market to go up and down, makes it fluctuate. Now, if you don't understand the market, don't understand how to read a P&L, please don't try to day trade, because that's what makes it a casino and you will lose your butt, okay? Now, as far as your 401ks go, we've heard the joke, I got a 301k, a 201k now. Well, if you're close to retirement and have the majority of your money in aggressive funds, what are you thinking? If you're 2, 3, 5 years away from retirement, you should be in fixed positions, especially when we change presidents. If you have somebody looking after your money, you might want to take a second look at that person if they didn't advise you. Every time we have a change of presidents, anything that you're aggressive in a 401k, you should probably look at a fixed fund until things kind of shake out a little bit. So keep that in the back of your mind 4 years from now. All right? Now, if you're not close to retirement, think about upping your contributions. You're not going to need the money until retirement. Probably aren't going to dig into your 401ks. Now's the time to be looking into when should I add to my contributions if you're not maxing it out. Now, if you want to look at stocks 5-year lows, go to March 20th, 2020, right at the start of the pandemic. Look at what the stock price was for every single stock. Everyone bottomed out at that point. It was like one day it was a complete reset to zero. Then what happened? As we came out of the pandemic, the stocks roared back. That's why you have to be a believer that this too shall pass with your 401k money, as well as buying more stock. All right. Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent made this point the other day. He said 88% of our stocks are owned by the 10% of the most wealthiest people. 88% owned by 10%. 12% of the remaining 12% of the remaining stocks are owned by the next 40% is what he said. Trying to remember all of this. And he said the remaining 50% are not in the market because they're too far deep in debt, can't afford the stocks that are making money. So how long do you think it'll take before the 88% of stocks are bought back by the wealthiest 10%, including the 40%? When do you think people are going to say, okay, this is bottomed out? The news will come at some point that maybe Trump's big, beautiful bill gets passed or maybe some deals with Japan, North Korea, Vietnam. Maybe some of these tariff bills start to happen. I know what's going on with China right now, but that's a completely separate animal that's going to take care of itself at some point. It's going to have to. But at some point, the 10% are going to want to make some big bucks, and they're going to start buying hand over fist, and the market will soar. And everybody who sold thinking they were going to get a better buy-in point is going to be left out, because that's what happens. They start talking down the market, scare all the suckers out, then they buy in and make all the money, leaving you out to dry. That's the game. That's the game. All right, Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett, who was given the Rat's Ass Podcast Dumbass Award last week for supporting the Tesla takedown, is on the verge of being our first back-to-back winner. She said one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard yesterday. She said, we need illegals crossing that border to pick cotton because black people are done picking cotton. Now, apparently, she has no idea nearly 100% of the cotton picked in America is done by machines today. What was she up to? Was she up to, I'm trying to get attention. I'm trying to stay out in front, making stupid statements like that. Does she really think that's going to get her elected if she has presidential designs in the future? You know, you put her combined with AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, what a duo. My God. I got to tell you, I'm really bugged by this Hallow app. I really am. It's being pushed by Mark Wahlberg on TV. I really don't understand why you need an app to say a prayer. Do we need an app for every damn thing today? Ooh, I don't know what to do. I better go to an app. Can't you just stop, drop, and pray wherever you're at for free without having to go to an app? It's insane to me. Now, they want you to download the app for free. They offer some free, scripture, spiritual advice. But what they're trying to do is hook you in so you want a deeper religious experience. Then you have to ante up. You got to pay for the app. It's the old give them a sample for free, then get them hooked. Then we'll go for the wallet. Now, I'm also possibly hypersensitive to all of this stuff because I grew up with a lot of religious scams. I grew up with preachers on TV who were eventually outed as being some of the biggest sinners and thieves we've ever seen. So maybe I'm a little hypersensitive here. But I really want to try and understand this thing because to me, Hallow is a pay-to-pray operation, a collection plate being passed around on an app. It was created by a bunch of wealthy capitalists trying to scam money from people searching for a spiritual experience, spirituality. Now, if I'm wrong, tell me. Tell me. Talk to me. ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. Help me understand the need to go to an app to say a prayer. All right, if you listen to this podcast on a regular basis, you know I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan. Well, this morning, I almost got hooked. There was something on Facebook that said Led Zeppelin was touring again in 2025. So naturally, I had to explore. I've always regretted not seeing them in 1977 and selling my tickets. Well, I'm thinking, wow, Page, Plant, Jones, Jason Bonham, John Bonham, some on drums. They reunited in 2007 for a tribute to their manager. So maybe there's some truth to this. Maybe they need money. It is 2025. Now, the piece I read said there was a concert coming to Los Angeles on June 25th at SoFi Stadium. So far, I'm thinking this is a possibility. So I went to Vivid, where I like to get my tickets, and I'm not paid by Vivid, by the way, to publicize them or to promote them. I just get my tickets on Vivid. There was nothing to see, nothing on sale, no tickets to see. It's April. There should be tickets on sale. There was nothing. So I went to LedZeppelin.com. You would think it would be all over the homepage if they were touring, right? Nothing. Not a zilch. So I think it's complete BS. And I get hooked in on this because you might recall, if you're in my generation, for years, every year after the band disbanded in 1980, there was a running joke that, hey, Led Zeppelin's reuniting this summer, and it never happened. We heard this for 10, 15 years after the band broke up. Now, Jason Bonham is touring. John Bonham's son. He's a drummer. He does this Led Zeppelin experience that's supposed to be pretty damn good, and they're focusing on the 50-year anniversary of Physical Graffiti. That's out there right now that if you want to go see it, check it out. It's supposed to be pretty good. But Jimmy Page is 81, John Paul Jones, the bassist, 79, lead singer Robert Plant is 76. And you think, well, you know what? The Stones go out and tour. They're in their 80s. Maybe Led Zeppelin would go out and do one more Tales of the Crypt tour. But so far, I think it's all BS, but I'll keep an eye on it for you. All right, I've had April 9th circled on my calendar for weeks. Tonight is the night Luka Doncic returns to Dallas. Lakers and Dallas Mavericks. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 here on the left coast. Luka versus Anthony Davis. You're all aware of the trade. Now, these two guys are going to be showing their former franchises they made a mistake. So I guarantee Anthony Davis is going to be slamming and jamming on his replacement, Jackson Hayes, who was his backup before he got traded. And Luka's going to be dropping bombs like the Japanese on Pearl Harbor on Dallas. And there is no way on God's green earth this game won't be the most watched NBA game since LeBron went to Miami and returned to Cleveland. Anybody want to take a little bet on that?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
I'm in a gambling mood. All right, let's play the screen test. Today, I want you to listen to this clip, and you tell me what movie this is from.
Let's take a look at the play. He is actually 6'5" with the Afro 6'9". Pretty good dribbler. Comes in deep. His club is behind by 1 point at this stage.
What is the name of the movie?
Let's take a look at the play. He is actually 6'5" with the Afro 6'9". Pretty good dribbler. Comes in deep. His club is behind by 1 point at this stage.
I'll have the answer for you a little bit later on in the podcast.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
Oh, yes. Let's get into it. Here's what's happening in the Rat's Ass Podcast X feed. Blind Barry Evans posted this question on X. He said, name something you've done that you would never do again. All right, Slim Kettle said bungee jumping. It was a rush, but once was enough for me. I got to give him props, man. There's no way I would ever bungee jump. Randy Starr said skydiving. Now get this. He said it wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be, so I'll never jump again. I'd like to hear him say that if the chute didn't open. All right, Lisa Andrews said water skiing. I don't know if I can get through this one straight-faced. She said, I have big boobs, and my top flew off once, and it petrified me, so I'm out. Maybe she got a very bad set of black eyes, too, from that. You know, I flew as a passenger with the Blue Angels once. It's one of those things you do as a radio personality to promote an event, whatever. They say, hey, you want to fly with the Blue Angels? I'm like, sure, that'd be exciting. Well, I found out I don't do G-force very well, and we'll just leave it at that.
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
All right, in a complete about-face, HBO Max real-time host Bill Maher now says after meeting Donald Trump, he now denies ever hating him and admits to having some admiration for him. Now, was Bill being affectionate when he called Trump a Hitler, a Nazi, a threat to democracy? Maybe Bill needs to be the other person considered for the Rat's Ass Podcast Dumbass Award. We've seen Bill for years. He almost melted down with Trump derangement syndrome once upon a time. Now, Trump has treated him like the Pied Piper. Now Bill's like,
oh, I like him now. He's a nice guy.
so is it Bill or is it Jasmine Crockett? I got a tough choice to make here. All right, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, who's been compared to the devil, says he's going to leave 1% of his $101 billion fortune to his 3 kids. Alexa, how much is 1% of $101 billion?
1% of 101 billion is 1.01 billion.
Okay, so he's going to leave his kids probably, let's see, doing the math, roughly, God, I'm going to say that's roughly about $333 million each. You talk about being thrown into poverty. But hey, you know, if Bill's the devil, why wouldn't he just raise it up to $202 million or billion and leave him the money? That'd be $666 million each. That would make more sense if he's really the devil. Jessica Simpson is defending why she drinks snake sperm. God, I'm going to laugh at this before I get through this. All right, back up. Jessica Simpson is defending why she drinks snake sperm, saying it really helps her clear her throat. Yeah, well, so does peppermint schnapps, but you know what? Jessica can drink whatever she wants, because what I really want to know is who's whacking off snakes. That's what I want to know. All right, Tracy Morgan was back courtside watching the New York Knicks Boston Celtics game the other day. I think it was last night. It was not Monday. It was last night. That was Tuesday, right? Yeah, it was on Tuesday night. Anyway, about a month ago, Tracy upchucked his dinner on the floor during a Knicks game, and he had to leave the game. Well, Tracy appeared on the Jumbotron, and fans gave him a standing ovation. And I was thinking, oh, my God, don't do that. Oh, he likes attention. He'll drop his pants and take up a doop-a-doop right there on the floor next.
That's just about enough of that.
All right, on a side note, Britney Spears is single again.
Who gives a rat's ass?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, this is where you email your questions, comments, and observations to me at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com, and I respond to them on the show. No topic is off the table. The more outrageous and salacious, the better. I do not read your emails in advance. My producer, Fleabag, forwards me your name, where you're from, and rewrites them so I can respond rapid fire on the fly. Some of you get very verbose in your emails, so we have to kind of edit it down a little bit. All right, Albert K. from Carlsbad, California said, I recall you telling a story once upon a time about how women get turned on by Santa Claus. Does this go for the Easter Bunny, too? No, I haven't seen it happen with the Easter Bunny, the phenomena. And the phenomena we're talking about with Santa Claus, by the way, is I've gone to nightclubs where somebody dressed as Santa would show up and women would just go nuts and start giving them like lap dances for free. Yeah, it happens. All right, Nola G., Anchorage, Alaska, said, I don't care what you say. When there's a crisis, Trump shouldn't be out on the golf course playing golf. You know, I don't know when this started with presidents not being allowed to do anything but be president. You know, Trump goes out on the golf course for 3 hours, gets some exercise. I'm happy a guy 78 years old is out there exercising, to be quite honest with you. I mean, Biden just drug a chair out on the beach and laid on the beach like a beached whale for 577 days during his presidency. You know, but look at it this way. There's 168 hours in the week. Trump probably sleeps 4 hours a night. That's 28 hours a week. Add 3 hours for golf. That's 31 hours. That's 137 hours left for him to be the president. I want a president who's fit as a fiddle. So I don't mind him playing golf because you know what? He was taking calls between each hole. That's 18 phone calls. And who knows what happened at the 19th hole? I don't want to know. Slug T from Tulsa, Oklahoma said, what do you think about those trans men playing women's pool in the UK, in a tournament in the UK? Well, you know what? If they can play pocket pool, they don't belong in a women's pool tournament. I'm sorry. I'm not into this men playing in women's sports thing. It's ridiculous. All right, Terry T from Columbus, Ohio. Who are your favorite comedians? Well, I have quite a few, Terry. So let's separate it. Dead and alive. Comedians dead or alive. Alive, I like Craig Shoemaker. Dave Chappelle's pretty good. Bill Burr, Nikki Glacier's funny as hell. And Eddie Murphy is a classic. It's hard to say that Eddie's a classic now. Those who are no longer with us would include George Carlin, Robin Williams, Rodney Dangerfield, Richard Pryor, yes. And Ralphie May used to crack me up, too. God, I miss him. Benito Q from Barcelona, Spain said, what's more offensive to an American man? Tell him to go F himself or to go suck a bag of dicks. God bless America. You know, I think you can take your pick there, Benito. And if you really want to offend the hell out of him, you can probably say, hey, go suck a bag of dicks and then go F yourself.
That's just about enough of that.
Okay, Sandy F. Dundee, thanks, Mom. From Dundee, Scotland, said, I bet you can't name 3 bands from Scotland that isn't Simple Minds. Oh, challenge. I sniff a challenge here. Okay, 3 bands from Scotland that isn't Simple Minds. Well, off the top, the Proclaimers is number 1. Big Country, who did the song in A Big Country, 1983. And Franz Ferdinand. Fleabag, check it out. Make sure that I'm right on these. Let's give her a couple of more just to grow on. Snow Patrol and Franz Ferdinand, Proclaimers, Primal Scream, and Big Country. Look those up. I think they're all from Scotland. If I'm wrong, I don't know what I'll do. All right, Jules G. from Bordeaux, France said, what's a good pickup line American girls always fall for? Oh, geez, put me on the spot here, Jules. Well, let's try this one. Hi, my name's Jules. And then you point to anybody within looking distance. Just point to anybody. I bet my friend over there that you paint your toenails red, do you? And I think if you say that in that French accent, her panties are already halfway melted off anyway. So try that one. Just point to anybody in the room and say, I bet my friend over there that you paint your toenails red, do you? And if that doesn't work, try, what part of America are you from? All right, Fleabag, did you look it up? Am I right on those? Thumbs up. Yes, all 5 bands are from Scotland, according to Google. All right, if you have any observations, comments, or questions, send them to me to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. ratsasspodcast@gmail.com.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, we're playing the screen test today. I want you to listen to real close again and tell me if you get this movie scene correct.
Let's take a look at the play. He is actually 6'5" with the Afro 6'9". Pretty good dribbler. Comes in deep. His club is behind by 1 point at this stage.
All right, do you know the name of the movie? If you guessed Fletch with Chevy Chase.
Correctamundo.
And if you missed it, go see your doctor about your head trauma and get well soon. All right, I got to go look for people with loose skin today, but I do have one more thing for you. Did you know biting on a pencil can help you cure a headache? You can cure it and you can cure it. Yeah, forget about the fact that you could get lead poisoning. You can deal with that later, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's do some shout-outs to Rat Nation here real quick. Mo DiNardo from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Colleen McMillan of Lubbock, Texas. Jake Harrison from Henderson, Nevada. Bakersfield, California. We welcome Michael Wells and Tanya Phillips from Casper, Wyoming. Thank you for joining the club. We appreciate it. Now, here's the deal. We're up to 265 members. We got to get to 1,000 before we can start giving away and throwing stuff your way. Got a ways to go, but we're at 265 right now.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Be sure to check out the new ratsasspodcast.com to connect with us on the socials. Listen to podcasts. You can join Rat Nation and read the blog. It's loaded with current events, entertainment, music, the radio wars, sports, sex, and the Dumbass Awards. Who will it be, Marr or Crockett? We'll get together again on Friday, April 11th. Take good care of each other, and thanks again for dropping by the Rat's Ass Podcast.